The handcuffs clicked shut around Linda Morrison's wrists as she stood dripping wet in her designer swimsuit, mascara running down her cheeks like black tears of defeat. "This is my pool," she screamed at Officer Davis, who was clearly trying not to laugh. "I'm the HOA president. You can't arrest me." "Ma'am, you're being arrested for trespassing, harassment, and filing a false police report," he said, guiding her toward the squad car. "The property owner has pressed full charges." Linda's face twisted with rage as she spotted me lounging calmly in my pool chair, sipping a margarita. "He's the trespasser. This is community property." I raised my glass in a mock toast. "Actually, Linda, it's been my private property for 6 months. But thanks for the free entertainment." Her jaw dropped so hard I thought it might crack the concrete. "Impossible. The HOA owns this pool." Officer Davis paused at the car door. "Ma'am, we've verified the property records. This pool and the surrounding area belong to Mr. Peterson. You're trespassing," as Linda was driven away in the back of a police cruiser, still screaming about community bylaws and property rights. I couldn't help but smile. Sometimes revenge is best served poolside. But let me back up 3 months, to when this whole beautiful mess began. I just moved to Sunset Manor, a supposedly luxury development where the houses were cookie-cutter perfect and the HOA rules were longer than the Constitution. The realtor had been very clear. The community pool was the crown jewel of the neighborhood, managed by the HOA for all residents to enjoy. What she didn't mention was Linda Morrison. Picture a woman who turned middle-aged entitlement into performance art, bleached blonde hair that defied both gravity and good taste, designer everything bought with her ex-husband's alimony, and the kind of fake smile that could cut glass. She'd been HOA president for 5 years, treating the position like she was running a small kingdom. The pool was her throne. My first encounter with Queen Linda happened on a Tuesday. I was doing laps in the early morning, enjoying the peace and quiet, when she materialized poolside like a chlorine-scented genie. "Excuse me," she barked, clipboard already in hand. "Are you a resident?" I stopped mid-stroke. "Yes, I just moved into 47 Maple Street. Pool hours are 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. It's currently 7:45 a.m. I checked my watch. The sign says 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Linda's smile could have frozen the pool water. "That sign is outdated. New rules went into effect last week." "Where were these new rules posted?" "In the monthly newsletter." "I haven't received a newsletter." "Then you should contact the HOA office." "You mean you?" "I mean the proper channels." Linda had perfected the art of bureaucratic stonewalling. She could make the DMV look welcoming and efficient, but I let it slide. New neighborhood, new rules, whatever. I'd adjust my schedule. That was my first mistake. Over the next few weeks, Linda's pool rules multiplied like algae in stagnant water. No swimming during family hours, which seemed to be whenever I wanted to swim. No pool noodles because they were aesthetically displeasing. No music. No phones. No fun. Each new rule was delivered personally by Linda, who'd somehow appointed herself as the pool's guardian angel and chief buzzkill. "The pool is a community resource," she'd say, "and I'm here to ensure everyone can enjoy it appropriately." Translation: Linda controlled the pool, and everyone else could suck it. The breaking point came on a Saturday in July. I'd invited my teenage nephews over for a pool party, nothing crazy. Just some kids having fun in the water. We were grilling burgers, playing volleyball, and generally enjoying life. Linda showed up like the Grim Reaper in a sun hat. "This is unacceptable," she announced, marching toward us with her clipboard of doom. "The pool is not available for private parties." "It's not a private party," I said calmly. "It's family using the community pool. There are noise limits, capacity limits, insurance liability issues. Linda, there are 6 kids in a pool that holds 50 people. The rules are the rules. Show me the rule." Linda's face went red. "I don't have to show you anything. I'm the HOA president, and I'm a resident, with equal rights to use the pool." "We'll see about that." She stormed off, and I thought that was the end of it. But Linda wasn't just dramatic, she was vindictive. The next morning, I found a formal HOA violation notice taped to my door. Apparently, my unauthorized pool party had violated no fewer than 7 community standards, including excessive noise, overcrowding, and failure to obtain proper permits. The fine was $500. I called Linda immediately. "This is harassment," I said. "You can't fine me for using the community pool. The pool has rules, and you violated them." "What rules?" "You've never provided written rules. The rules are clearly posted." "Where?" "In the appropriate locations." "Linda, I've lived here for 2 months. I've never seen written pool rules anywhere." "That's not my problem." Linda had mastered the art of circular logic. Talking to her was like arguing with a goldfish that had delusions of grandeur. But here's the thing about Linda. She was so drunk on her own power that she'd forgotten to do basic due diligence. See, when I bought my house, I'd done more than just a standard inspection. I'd had a full property survey done because the lot seemed unusually large for a development home. The survey revealed something interesting. My property line extended 20 feet beyond where I'd thought it ended, 20 feet that included half the pool. My lawyer confirmed what the survey had shown. The original developer had screwed up the property divisions, and through a series of legal oversights, I actually owned a significant portion of what everyone thought was community property. But I'd kept that information to myself. After all, why rock the boat when everyone was getting along? Linda changed that calculation. While she was busy writing violation notices and inventing new rules, I was busy having the property lines officially resurveyed and filing the appropriate paperwork with the county. The revenge plan was simple: let Linda dig her own grave. I started using my pool more frequently, swimming at 7 a.m., bringing friends over, playing music, having actual fun. Each time, Linda would appear with her clipboard, issuing new violations and threats. Each time, I'd nod politely and ignore her completely. "You're going to be expelled from the HOA," she screamed during one particularly memorable confrontation. "Oh no," I said, doing a perfect backstroke. "Whatever will I do?" Linda's fines escalated. $500 became $1,000. $1,000 became $2,000. She was so focused on punishing me that she'd lost sight of reality. The final straw came on a Thursday evening in August. I was floating peacefully on a pool raft, reading a book, when Linda arrived with backup, her entire HOA board, and a security guard she'd hired. "This ends now," she announced dramatically. "You're banned from the pool effective immediately." "On what grounds?" "Repeated violations of community standards, and if I refuse to leave, I'll call the police." I smiled. "Go ahead." Linda's face lit up with vindictive glee. She'd finally found a way to crush me completely. She called 911 with the theatrical flair of someone who'd been waiting her whole life for this moment. "Yes, I need police at Sunset Manor immediately. We have a trespasser who's refusing to leave our community pool." Officer Davis arrived within minutes, looking like he'd rather be anywhere else. Linda met him at the pool gate, practically vibrating with excitement. "Officer, this man is trespassing on HOA property and refusing to leave." Davis looked at me floating peacefully in the pool. "Sir, I need to ask you to step out of the water." "Of course," I said, swimming to the edge. "But first, could you verify something for me?" I handed him a waterproof folder I'd been keeping in my pool bag. "Could you check these property records against your system?" Davis opened the folder, read for a moment, then looked up with surprise. "Mum, are you sure this is HOA property?" "Of course I'm sure," Linda snapped. "I'm the HOA president. Because according to these county records, Mr. Peterson owns this portion of the property." Linda's face went white. "That's impossible. The property survey shows his lot line extends to include the pool and pool deck. The HOA has owned this pool for 10 years. Not according to the county assessor's office. That's when I climbed out of the pool and produced my trump card, a folder containing the original property survey, the corrected county records, and a letter from my attorney confirming ownership. Linda, I said, wrapping myself in a towel, you've been trespassing on my property for 3 months. Her mouth opened and closed like a fish gasping for air. Every violation you've issued me is invalid. Every fine you've levied is extortion. And every time you've forbidden me from using my own pool, you've been violating my property rights. Officer Davis was reading through the documents. Sir, you're saying you own this pool, the deck, and about 20 feet of what everyone thought was community property. Then what's the HOA's role here? I smiled at Linda's increasingly horrified expression. The HOA has been managing my property without permission for years. I could have charged them rent. Linda found her voice. You can't just ... You can't just claim ownership. I'm not claiming it, Linda. I'm proving it. Officer Davis handed the documents back to me. These look legitimate. MAAM, if this is his property, then you don't have authority to remove him. But I'm the HOA president. The HOA doesn't supersede property law. That's when Linda made her fatal mistake. Instead of admitting defeat, she doubled down. I don't care what those papers say. This is community property, and I'm ordering you to arrest him. Davis looked at her like she'd lost her mind. Ma'am, you can't order me to arrest someone for using their own property. Then I'm making a citizen's arrest. Linda actually lunged toward me, as if she could physically drag me off my own property. Davis caught her before she could touch me. Ma'am, you're under arrest for trespassing, harassment, and filing a false police report. And that's how Linda Morrison went from HOA president to police custody in the span of 10 minutes. The fallout was swift and beautiful. The HOA board, horrified by Linda's behavior, voted to remove her immediately. They also voted to purchase my portion of the pool property at fair market value, which turned out to be substantial. Linda tried to sue me for fraud and property theft, but her lawyer dropped her case after reviewing the evidence. Turns out, claiming ownership of property you actually own, in fraud it's called reading a deed. The criminal charge is stuck. Linda was convicted of filing a false police report and sentenced to community service. The irony of her having to serve the community she'd tyrannized wasn't lost on anyone. She moved out of Sunset Manor 6 weeks later, citing neighbor harassment, which was rich, considering she'd been harassing neighbors for years. The new HOA president sent me a fruit basket and a formal apology. The pool rules were simplified to one sentence: don't be a jerk. Linda's replacement as self-appointed pool monitor, a 10-year-old golden retriever named Max, who's significantly more reasonable and twice as intelligent. I still use the pool daily. Sometimes I wave at Linda's old house, where a lovely young family has moved in. They actually thank me for getting rid of the crazy pool lady. The sweetest revenge came last month when Linda drove by during one of my nephew's pool parties. She slowed down, stared at the fun she tried so hard to prevent, and then drove away in defeat. Some people need to learn that power without knowledge is just stupidity with a clipboard. Linda learned that lesson the hard way, in handcuffs, soaking wet, and utterly humiliated. The pool is still there. Linda's authority isn't. Sometimes the best revenge is just proving you were right all along.